Scholars, welcome back. We're talking about D3 and why you need to support Marathon to make sure it happens. I know you're already thinking the same thing I am, but let's just jump into it, shall we?
I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor, here to spread the cheer. Join me on this adventure, where gaming wipes away the tears.
Welcome back, Scholars, to the Counselor's Office. I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor, and we're doing this live, which means I can't make a mistake. I have people watching and judging me. Let's be honest, people are always watching and judging me. But we are back with more drama. You know, we just can't stay away. Not my drama, by the way. This is just the ongoing drama with Marathon in the spotlight, because right now Destiny is the hot topic. Destiny 2, you know, bringing back a resurgence of players, over 1 million players over the course of a week, still going strong. Crazy. It's crazy. But now we've got the hot topic. That's right. This is why I use Twitter for these moments, where we have former Bungie community manager Lena Rupert discuss criticisms of Marathon and comparisons to Destiny 2. She said supporting Marathon is the only path right now for fans wanting future projects, including a possible Destiny 3. She said people are comparing apples to oranges when using Destiny 2's player numbers to judge Marathon, as it's an extraction shooter for a smaller audience similar to Escape from Tarkov. Destiny players are mad, said they don't want to buy or play a game just to support Bungie. And here's the deal. We've said this, and I'm going to continue to say, and chat's on the side joining us today. Hello, chat. How you doing? Thank you for joining us today. Sound off the comments as we go, by the way. Yes, I did the ghetto version of chat because my streamer bot's not working, so we're doing this instead. Woo! The audience, the consumer, is always right in terms of flavor, of taste. When the majority of a consumer base says we don't want it, they don't want it. I mean, that's just reality. You as much as you want to argue, these people want to sit there and try to, you know, you're the bad guy. People, if you don't support them, they'll lose their jobs. No, they'll lose their jobs because they're not providing a product that people want. It's the same thing with your local, local stores. They shut down because a Walmart or Target moves in, or a research moves in, and they provide either more quality or that better pricing, or whatever the reason. They survive while these smaller stores diminish. Why? Because the consumer is always right. They will go with what they think is the best product or the best service, the best whatever it may be. So in this case, Marathon is not it. Trying to convince people that this is the only way to D3 is the same comparison as stated by me previously in this comment right here, is that Apex, it's like supporting Apex Legends would lead to Titanfall 3, which is a perfect example. Now, there obviously this is garnered, this post of mine, what a banger, apparently 13k views for all the dudes that are like, oh, Twitter matters, 400 likes, and you're like, I don't care. Listen, if you're not using this for like content, who gives a crap about viewage? I care more about the video itself. 13k views on a Twitter. Wow, that's great. Can you come check out my channel? That's how I feel. But anyways, you already have people trying to argue. The Titanfall Apex thing is an entirely different circumstance. This one is correct. Support Marathon or never see Destiny again. And it isn't hard to figure out why. It's... What are you talking about? The vague post king. I don't know why we're saying it's vague post. Again, I replied that is the same circumstances. That the argument is a nuh-uh. There's no logical reason why it's different. It's like they're not. That's the problem with these people. They just say you're wrong, but they do not provide an actual example of why you're wrong. tell me how this isn't the same circumstances. Yes, I can. Titanfall didn't meet expectations at all. Respawn was done with it and needed something new. Marathon was a passion project built by a very small set of the studio. Very small set. You mean half of the studio? Half, and now that they've actually moved over more, even in fact, reports from even Paul Tassi have showed that more than half the studio are working on Marathon. Small. Again, people who don't even know what they're talking about because they're ignorant. They actually have no form of understanding of what they're actually talking about. Marathon was a passion project built by a passion project. Then why was it that most of the developers were coming out and saying that they were telling people not to do this, that they didn't want an extraction shooter? Also, I can't understand the type of extraction shooters. Eventually, this item's going to be deleted unless escape from Tarkov PvE mode. Well, that's another thing. Like the idea that this is just a passion. That's great. You know who can do passion projects? Companies that are in a good spot, or indie developers that don't expect that their entire, business model is dependent on the success of one game. And that's something that's not being argued or talked about, is the fact this is not just an indie game. This is not like a small AAA company. This is a company that was bought for $3.6 billion. I think some people are saying it's 3.7, but 3.6 is like what I use. You don't spend $3.6 billion for a passion project. You just don't. By the way, it was funny because Destiny didn't meet expectations at all either. So why support Marathon thinking we will get Destiny when Destiny is in the same boat as Titanfall? Yeah, it's like Destiny did not meet expectations. We know it never meet expectations. Activision didn't meet expectations. When they were acquired, by the way, when they were acquired by Sony, Lightfall didn't meet expectations, 45% below expectations. Final Shape was a massive success for the gamers, but for the company side, did not meet expectations. And that's why you saw multiple layoffs. Like this argument is that Marathon is going to be successful. That's the argument that they're trying to say, is that you need Destiny, Marathon to get Destiny. But the reality is Marathon is not even capable of pulling in enough people to even say, okay, there's a future for Destiny. No, why focus on Marathon when you should just focus on Destiny? That's the argument I'm making, is like, why waste your time, focusing on something that's useless when you can just focus on what people actually want. Like right now, what's trending is Destiny, not Marathon. And then we argue Marathon's out of the equation. It doesn't matter. It does. Destiny did okay until its Half-Life. It also, no, it didn't. It failed to meet, right off the rip, it failed to meet Activision's, I don't know why I say Activision's margins. That's why they split off with Bungie in the first place, because they consistently failed to meet those expectations. So right off the rip, this person doesn't know what they're talking about. And pretty much what I said, right? Anyways, a lot of people sounding off, agreeing. Yeah, so we'll talk about, one of the things about Lena Rupert is that this is the former Bungie community that said that she wouldn't be silenced. Like, let me just see if I can get Grok to find it for her. Find the tweets from Lena Rupert, former Destiny 2 community manager, who said she would not take millions of dollars to be silent. Yeah. This is the same community manager that took millions of dollars, or sorry, openly said that she dismissed millions of dollars to be silent. And then she proceeded to be silent anyways. Like, I don't take, like, it's hard to take what she says as legitimacy. And there's been some things that she said about the studio itself Here we go. So in December 2020, I turned down a $67 million payout this year to buy my silence. You can call me whatever you want, but you can't say I don't walk my talk. Well, you're sure not talking at all. As someone whose biggest fear is going back to being homeless, that decision wrecked me. But you either put up or shut up. Only mildly shit myself. Well, you definitely didn't put up. You didn't put anything up. You were silenced. Either you're lying or you're stupid. Because you chose to be silent anyways. So that's the thing. Like, you can't. It's hard to take this person seriously, especially when they're saying you need a fun marathon. How about no? Which is funny because even Christopher Barrett, that's right, Mr. Truth or Dare himself, Mr. Hey, let me inappropriately flirt with a bunch of women and you know, chicks in the office, and to be highly, like, we read all the texts and stuff. It was just so awful. It's like, when it comes to, you know, a predator, I'm sure he's a deviant of some sort. Like, keep the women away from Christopher Barrett. But this is Grenadier Jake response to one of Christopher Barrett's, who's support. Again, he's been trying to support Marathon, telling people that they're wrong or that they don't know what they're talking about. Grenadier Jake, do you like Pete Parsons? Christopher Barrett, who doesn't? There's no way. I have to look this up. G Jake. I have to see the replies. So here it is. Okay, I found it. Good. It's so weird to see people who literally had nothing to do with the creation of anything or knowledge of anything commenting and farming views with terrible takes. I wonder if either A, he's talking about content creators, or B, he's talking about he's talking about Lena Rupert. What are these takes we shouldn't be listening to then? It's hard to know what's happening. Just assume everything is nonsense unless it's a credible source. Okay, well, I would say you would be considered nonsense because, you know, you got fired for your job for playing Truth or Dare and trying to be Mr. Kinky guy. You're trying to play touch the butt is what you're trying to do with your coworkers. Billy Goat, turning down 67 million is the type of decision making that will land you. Yes, that will land you as a homeless. There's no shot. There is no shot. Like, the more we think about it, the less I believe that's true. $67 million? That's almost enough to fund freaking Destiny 2. Or sorry, Destiny 3. Actually, it would have funded Destiny 2, like keeping it upkeep and taking care of things. Like, there's no shot. She's got to be full of bullshit. That if you think about logically, there's no shot they would give someone that much money, especially a community manager, unless there was some damning information. Like, I'm talking about people are gonna get sued, people are gonna go to jail, like shit like that. But there is no way that she said, nah, I'm good, and they decided not to tell it anything, not to say anything. Do you like who doesn't? Ew. Go back. Ain't no way. Of course, the creep Barrett likes like that fucker. Yeah, that's what I. Let's be honest. It's hard to support people like this. See, these are the weirdos of the. Remember, when we're talking about shit, like we're shitting on the Bungie studio. These are the people that I like to shit on. Even though they're former, they were part of the equation at one point where I would shit on them. Christopher Barrett, Lena Rupert, these people were part of the studio, and I would proceed to shit on them because, as you can clearly see, there's something wrong with them. So Joker's been on I don't know why he's spending a lot of time on Twitter, because he doesn't even record any of his Twitter interactions. Well, I wish he would. It'd be an interesting series. But he's been going at it. I've been keeping my chill pill mostly because I've been playing games and watching, you know, catching up on, actually, I lie. I've not been catching up on anime. I just rewatched, started rewatching Dragon Ball Z. Listen, sometimes you got to watch the classics again, okay? Got to watch the classics, Dragon Ball Z. Whew. But anyways, he's been going on a tear on Twitter. Let's see what he has to say. So we have Craig. Oh my God. You can't, if anyone is just going to be the reason why people hate Marathon, it's people like Craig. We got our failed analyst, Craig, bitching about this. Elden Ring director says FromSoftware is free to make games. It wants to tease unannounced titles. Yeah, to make games it wants to. It's free to make it. And you know what? Destiny fans should be more like FromSoft fans. Thank you, Mrs. Zaki. You know what? The thing is, let's talk about this. Who's released multiple titles? I mean, that were bangers. Bloodborne, Dark Souls. Heck, even Demon Souls back in the day was it's a cult classic. Elden Ring DLC. Night Rain it depends on who you talk to. But people still tried it because even if it was multiplayer, people still tried it because it's, it's FromSoftware. They have a reputation that people are willing to support. It is asinine to sit there and be like, Destiny 2 fans, you need to support Bungie as they make things that isn't what you want. Also, they're going to be making a extraction like game, but I guess it's also going to be in the vein of like Dark Souls style or with that theme, which is still meeting the expectations of what people want. Like there's a difference from Marathon and Destiny. It'd be one thing if they made a Destiny 2, like Destiny extraction shooter. You're in the world Destiny. You have the people would probably, I'm going to say this. I think there will be a larger group of people. I still think people would still bitch about an extraction shooter because they find out how bad it, losing your shit is. But I guarantee you people would be more accepting of a Destiny extraction shooter than Marathon because no one asked for Marathon. Everyone's asking for Destiny 3. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm going to say the truth. I'm going to speak the truth. I think most people will look at FromSoftware fairly negatively if they ran their primary franchise into the ground, missing goal after goal, leading hundreds of layoffs and diminishing quality while also chasing trends that don't work out for them and thus facing layoffs. Yeah, so that's another thing. They've been fairly, like, FromSoftware has been fairly successful meeting expectations of what the gaming community wants. Even we got even this can implement it as you play as Hive. Yeah, I mean, you could still do a lot of stuff. Yeah, instead they just abandoned the primary franchise and when another one came along and became a cult hit. More than a cult hit. And if I ban is the right word, as they didn't finish Dark Souls, now Bloodborne, well, yeah, I mean, and let's not sit there and say that people aren't miffed at FromSoftware because they continue not to make Bloodborne, which is, I think, a Sony decision. Did I save this? I can't tell. Who puts their wife's, on their, like, I know you're proud of your wife. This is a random tangent. Why is the first thing I see from your profile is your wife's ass? I don't want to see your wife's ass. I'm sorry. Like, could you at least give like a nice little, pose with your wife so it's not as weird? But like, people shouldn't, I don't know. That's just me. Like, I don't know. Is that me? If I had a wife, I'm not going to have my wife's ass on my Twitter. Like it's right there. All right. So we have another Joker. And again, another Marabot. Here we go. Another Marabot. Let's read it. And I love, it's two brain dead morons. This one's a perfect example. Like this, you got two brain dead morons, desperate and coping. Man, look at this. 44 views and only 430 likes. Like, damn, you're not getting a lot of love on that one, kiddo. If you haven't told, I'm intentionally, just for the people that think Twitter matter, just poking it, because I don't, who gives a crap about likes? If Marathon fails, then so does Bungie. If Marathon succeeds, then Bungie lives to pitch Destiny 3 one more day. It's not a guarantee, but it's the closest we're getting to it right now. Or they could say, hey, we're going to use Marathon right now to siphon funds to fund a Destiny 3, because this is the only clear route. We will, because if you look at the player count, Just Cat, rumor is Sony refuses to let Bloodborne be remade. Yeah, and I think it's also has to something to do with the main creator also like refusing, like, I don't know what, like there's a lot of background stuff there, but maybe they're afraid that it won't meet expectations. I don't know. They're really weird with Bloodborne, like whatever Sony's deciding to do. Like, hey, let's make Marathon and not Destiny 3, but hey, we're never gonna make Bloodborne. No. The boycotting by creators only erodes the chances of what? Oh my God, $9.99. Hey man, just wanted you to know you were always my favorite Destiny 2 villain. After all the criticisms and smack talk, you were still there on the 9th. I respect the hell out of you for that, bro. Well, I appreciate you too. We'll give you one of these, even though it's a video that we're recording. Thank you for the $10.99. I appreciate you. You're a legend. Shout out everyone in the comments. I want to make sure I get your name. It does not do a good job. This is also partially me. Who are you? Ministry of Wrong Thing. Shout out to you. No, I don't want to time you out. Anyways, that's part of the fun of doing this live, is doing things. The boycotting erodes the chances of what they really want. Gun to my head between Destiny 3 and Marathon, I'm picking the former. We got Marathon, so let's make the best out of it. But here's the thing, let's make the best out of it. No, it's like, here, you want a sandwich? Well, you get a pile of shit. I know you want, we all want the sandwich, but you got a pile of shit, so you got to eat the shit in hopes that you might get a sandwich. No. Ain't no one gonna eat that shit. No one's gonna take a pile of shit from the street and start eating it in hopes that someone's gonna give them a sandwich. No one's gonna walk by like, here's your sandwich. No, like, it's stupid. It's asinine. It's intellectual dishonesty. There's no logic. There's nothing that supports this. In fact, there's more evidence to support against it. This is what we call Marabot energy. People that are desperate to make Marabot, Marathon more than what it is. No one, the wider gaming audience, has decreed and do not like Marathon. It is shit to them. It's ass. And it doesn't matter that there's a niche population that thinks Marathon's fantastic. That's great. But the consumers are always right, and popularity dictates the value of a product. Welcome to life. Ferraris are popular and expensive because majority see them as that way. Celebrities are popular and famous and successful because people consume their product or are interested in them. It's popularity based. Everything in life is popularity based. Hell, even the rule of law is based on popularity. What do the majority want? Okay, that's what we'll give. The human species has lived on the majority rule for generations. And if you think that your little caveman brain is you're gonna change that because you're gonna try to be like, well, I think it's great. Okay, good luck. The consumer, when it comes to consumerism, you have very little sway. Very little. Also, just sell the IP. People need to take their medication. In no world would Destiny in anyone else's hands besides Bungie feel right. Actually, this is incorrect because Tencent, is it Tencent? I think it's Tencent, has already proven that, because people, in fact, even before they announced the end of service for Destiny, people were already praising Tencent for praising them for making Crota's End even better than the original and the remake on Destiny 2. But they also praised all the other raids Like, what are we talking about? We already have a case study where we have a studio that can already make Destiny better than Bungie. That the consumers, the people that are actually playing it, enjoy it more than what Bungie has provided. So you're wrong. We have a case study of the Destiny franchise being successful. Granted, it's not as successful as probably everyone wants it to be because it's a mobile game. The real test would be if they made it in an actual like PC console world. And until that comes, you have no evidence to support that it wouldn't be successful. You have zero. We have more evidence, even if it's just a small piece of evidence, it's still more than what people like this have, which is nothing. You have nothing, sir. Maybe I trust BioWare, but that's a stretch. All in all, actually give Marathon a shot on future weekends. There have been 2 free times that people have tried Marathon. The first time had over 100K. The second time was 40K. And now is down to like 10K again. No, you can sit here. And here's the thing. I want to make this very clear. The things that people like Lena Rupert and Birdman and Cool Craig and Ginocchio, whatever his name is, and every other Delulu out there. Let me give you some advice. In fact, Joker said it correctly. Well, there's 2 parts to it, actually. We'll come back to this in a minute. The first one is definitely the Streisand effect, where you feel like, hey, no one look at it. People are going to sit there and continue. But another thing is telling people what to do, telling people to eat that pile of shit. They're going to push back. In fact, you do Marathon more harm consistently posting stuff like this because it enrages people. You are, not only is it enraging, but it completely and utterly dismisses the intelligence of every consumer and gamer out there, because people know this is not true. You are trying to treat everyone like they're absolutely brain dead. That this is how you get Destiny. You got to do this to get Destiny 3, even though people know that's not true. That's why people are going to be more enraged and inflamed to go against Marathon, is that people like this try to make people think that they're stupid, or make people feel stupid because they realize, hey, I see what you're doing, but you're talking and acting as if I'm that stupid that I wouldn't understand it. And that's what causes people to hate content creators like this, but also Marathon by connection to these content creators. So you're actually doing more harm by not just shutting the fuck up. Let's be honest. If you just shut up, and all these people who get enraged about Steam charts, if you all just shut up, you wouldn't continue to cycle. You wouldn't enrage people. But you are trying to diminish the intelligence of other people, or at least trying to make it seem like they have diminished intelligence. People are smart enough to see through your bullcrap. Just Cat, Destiny Rising gunplay is really good, so Bungie lost that. There you go. So Joker also posting, and I like this, against another Marabot. This, I don't need to play it or buy it. Just don't contribute. You don't need to, but don't contribute to the hate. If you do hate it for whatever reason, want D3, here's the neat thing. You don't have to say anything. Just focus on your desire for Destiny and ignore Marathon then. The Streisand effect. Telling people to not talk about something, telling people to shut up, is going to make them not shut up. In fact, I'm going to continue to post videos like this just to give you the middle finger, because people like this are dismissing your intelligence. They're trying to act like you're stupid. They think that this is going to work against you. Like, they don't realize that they are fighting. They're like the little shrimp floating in the water against a tidal wave. You are losing. You will never win this. Marathon will never be successful as you want it to be. It never will be. You are failing, and you're failing downward, not even upward. People are getting entitled in their opinion. People are entitled to their opinions. The only thing this hug box, be nice to marathon mentality is going to do is galvanize more conversation around the game. You are literally just saying we can't take criticism. Please be nice, which will have the opposite effect. Exactly. I'm not going to get political, and I'm only going to mention this for just a case. I don't get when I say this. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about the argument. I don't give a shit about the politics behind it. But it is a perfect example of this effect that they're trying to say. It's the same thing with the Epstein files, where people were trying to tell people to stop talking about it and try to push it away. And what happened? Everyone started talking about more and demanding to see more of it, yada, 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 right? Like that I know I don't want to get political. Don't start an argument. That's just an example of what we're talking about here, that you try to push something away or tell people to stop talking about it or think it's stupid, yada, yada, yada. It's going to cause people to push back. The problem is that 90% of the hate Marathon gets isn't constructive criticism. It's vibe-based slander disguised as well-intended critiques. This is not true. Here's the deal. If you go to Twitch, how many people are watching? Seriously, how many people are watching based on Twitch? I'm not gonna. Maybe I could pull it up here. How many people are actually watching? How many people are actually watching? I just don't want it to start blasting my ears. How many people are actually watching? Let's see. I want 2,000. Bro, that's dog shit. How many people are watching Tarkov right now? That's Arena. Yeah, okay. That is not the extraction shoot. Tarkov. How many people are watching Tarkov? If I can spell. Yeah. Yeah. I'm telling you, a game that's been out for years is kicking the ass of the new one. And here's the deal. No one knows who's watching unless you're talking in chat. No one is, you don't have to buy something to watch it. This is a perfect example that no one gives a shit about Marathon except a very small group. And you could sit there and say, well, Marathon's a niche. Well, Marathon is now the only thing that's supporting Bungie as a studio. You can't have a niche support a $1 billion AAA studio. You can have it support an indie company or a company that has multiple assets, like, Overwatch, Blizzard has Overwatch while they're, also making, Elder Scrolls, what if we ever see that. They have different assets to fund them while they build other things. Bungie now has nothing. They have nothing. There is nothing. There's no new expansions for people to buy. This is it. This is all they wrote. I'm sorry. No one gives a shit about Marathon. Titanfall was never profitable. Hey, kind of like Destiny. And he says it nicely. So this is why I like Joker, because he does it nicer than I do. And Marathon, guess we have the trifecta of just because something's good doesn't mean it will succeed. But question, Titanfall 2 had to deal with being released between COD and Battlefield, essentially being sent to die by EA. What's Marathon's excuse? Exactly. What was it competing against? Because it sure wasn't Destiny, because there was no content for 6 months. You can't say that Marathon was competing against Destiny, because it sure as hell wasn't. Gleepy, they played Django with everything and now balance on top of the lone Marathon domino. Yep. But also, just something else that's come up is that you cannot talk about Destiny 3 when you're doing brand deals for Marathon, which this is correct. My friend shared it. This is through Twitch. They're crying about it too, scumbags. Yeah, I mean, no, here's the reality. This is not something here's the difference. Talk about or compare to a competitor. Destiny 3 is not a competitor. It's also within house. So it's very obvious that they're trying to silence Destiny 3 or not even mention Destiny 3, which is insane that they specify that specifically, that even Twitch now is trying to silence it. You're going to lose this fight. You're going to lose it. Then we got the one peg. Man, this person dipped out after sucking the balls of Marathon, and now they're back. We have Paul Tassi. I just think it's the opposite of what you're saying. The newer game releasing new content should in fact be ahead of the older live game that hasn't had content in half a year. And particularly when one of these games is being closed down and the other is being indefinite. By the way, this was June 4th before the launch of Monument of Triumph, which has garnered over 1 million players. It had like 30K on Steam before the launch. You have an all-time player base of 71 million people versus an all-time player base of somewhere around 1.3 million people, and you're having a hard time grasping that there are 30K concurrent people logging in for Destiny 2 after the news hits the expansion or expansion ever is coming. The last expansion ever is coming. It's not even an expansion, you dumbass. The numbers are ass regardless. Open your eyes. By the way, just so we're clear, oh, he mentions it. Sure, if you look at from the lens of an AA studio spent a lot of money, if you don't, how the fuck is 30K concurrent daily players bad? Because, oh, he says it tier 2. It's a free fucking week too, dude. And the game has shit numbers at launch to begin with. The problem is this is supposed to sustain Bungie. How is 15 to 30K not bad? And when you're size queening every major title that drops staring at graphs and enjoy video games instead, no one actually gives a fuck about player counts as long as there's people play against. Again, this is so funny. I have no argument, so now I'm going to make it about graphs. You're looking at the graphs. Why aren't you just playing the game? Like, who cares about looking at charts? Bro, you gotta love these low intelligent people that they try to talk and they have zero argument. It's a free week, which means anyone can play. No one's playing. 30K. And this is the only title that can sustain Bungie. I don't have an argument about it, so I'm just going to talk about the Steam, the chart watching instead. Who cares? Well, whenever your game gets shut down or the studio shuts down because it's not sustainable, because not even, it's under 30K that people are playing on a free week. Yeah, shit's going to go pretty bad for you. Are you generally too stupid to understand Destiny was no longer profitable? I feel like we've been telling you this for weeks. Are you generally still confused by the situation? And people are so stupid. Destiny 2 right now is probably more profitable than Marathon is. And that's where I'm going to end the video there. Man, again, I kind of want Marathon to fail, even if that means like that we don't get Destiny 3. I kind of want it to fail just so that we could have the reactions of all the people that are just stupid, just to watch them. Like, I want to know where they're going to go to, by the way. Where are they going to transition to? Because I want to make sure I don't go play those from that community. Where they transition to? We need to push these people back. Anyways, I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor. Hit the like button, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel for more. As always, I'll see you in the next video. Huzzah!